This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
And boom!
Common man, no show prep, no solid plan. Spins a yarn, begins a tale. The esoteric approach won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common man, charge the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Oh, boy. Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello?
You guys are going to criticize whatever you want to criticize.
You just have to draw your own conclusions, people.
Idiot, moron, imbecile, what a Morris.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Thank you, Baghdad. Thank you, Frankfurt. Thank you, Hong Kong. Thank you, Timbuktu.
I love the common man.
Thanks, yeah.
I love the common man.
I got to tell you this, all right? I ran all the way here because I thought I would be talking to the common guy.
Oh,
Let me tell you something. Only because the guy's fucking, I mean, he's nuts. Every time I listen to the radio, that guy's nuts.
Well, it's good to hear. I'll have to pass along that you're a fan of the common man.
Well, I ain't necessarily a fan, but I want to tell the guy he's nuts.
That is a cold-blooded connection.
Think it ain't.
They can pitch.
Correct.
They can hit.
That's for sure.
What is with? I mean, come on.
He's the clown from Brown. He's the fourth in the north. This is the common man, Dan Cole.
Hey, the Grum gets underway in 5, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4, 2, 1. Greetings, good afternoon, Ack-Ack-A-Dak, and Dak-Dak-A-Ack to you and yours. What is Ack-Ack-A-Dak? Dak-Dak-Ack? Well, Wilbur, it's your password for tomfoolery and skullduggery. It will also gain you admittance into a meeting of the Loyal Order of Water Buffalo. Ooh la la. Ooh la la. I'm a radio dinosaur. The fan is my La Brea tar pit. Someday archaeologists and paleontologists will be sifting through the rubble that is 1600 Utica Avenue South. They'll stumble across my skeletal remains with my cold, dead, rigor mortis laden lips attached to this Norman BCM 104 microphone, and they will say, egad, a social commentator with an archaic communication device, excited and delighted to be with you. And there is so much to get to. Aftermath of the Wolves. Will they buy, sell, trade? Are they going to regress? Are they a big mess, or will there be a lot of things they can address? More entitled athletes that won't answer the tough questions from the media. Tough luck, Chris Paddock. Another extra innings loss. The Lynx continue to win. Will they ever lose a game this season? Do you like parades? And Scotty Scheffler wins again. with all of those topics to get to, I can never tell where we should start. Let's spin the wheel of topics.
Commons golf game.
That catches me off guard.
What'd you shoot today?
A 79.
Where'd we play?
Loggers Trail.
Where'd you hit it on? 1?
Right up the gut.
How far from the green?
Well, we were playing 10, actually. I was still a long way.
Second shot?
I hit a nice little hybrid just right up the middle.
How far from the green?
I had 115 to the pin.
Then what?
Pulled it left a little over the green.
Then what?
Well, it's that dangerous, fast putt from up on top, and I just didn't give it enough, so I left it about 6 feet short.
Then what?
It spun out. It looked like it was dead center cut. I started to raise my putter, was going to fist pump like Tenna did when he made that 10 from 30 feet, but I didn't get a chance to do that.
Well, there's that.
Yeah, there was that. It's just good to finally get out of the abyss. My game, it tended to be, it's kind of a bad break for you. I've been playing bad for a month. I mean, I shot 90 yesterday at Royal Club. I shot 90 on Saturday. I'm consistent anyway, up at Minnesota National McGregor for tee to green. And I decided that today, if I did not break 80, I was going to bequeath the official, unofficial ambassador to Minnesota Golf ambassadorship to you. It was going to be, which means I would have been taking your kids to school every day. I would have been doing hockey tryouts. I would have been doing, saying to your wife, yes, ma'am, 3 bags full, ma'am, and you would have been playing golf every day. But
I was that close.
You were that close. Oh. Just missed it by that much. And now you don't get to be the official, unofficial ambassador. And if you would have gotten it, it's lifetime appointment until you.
It's life changing.
Yeah, well, it's life changing. The last golf ambassador was assassinated. Somebody shot them on a grassy knoll at a Deer Run golf course. So anyway, I
thought they hit the back of the head with a 9-iron.
Well, they may have done that too. Well, that's what I'm always afraid of when people go, "Hey, Common, can I go golfing with you?" And I say, well, I don't know who you are. How do I know you won't hit me over the back of the head with a 9-iron? Drag me into the woods, lobotomize me, and try to turn me into your sex slave. I mean, what? No! I don't know. I'm supposed to just, without even knowing who you are, stick a tee in the ground and go play golf. I just don't know if I can do that. We talked about, I made the bold, brash, and controversial prediction that the Wolves, their window is closed. I think it's officially closed. I think they had their chance the last 3 years, actually. Remember, it's 3 years ago. They got eliminated in the semifinals, I believe. And then last year they got to the door, the Western Conference Finals. This year they knocked on it. Now they would like to kick it in next year, and I think a lot of fans are feeling good about it. But you'll remember the Bum Phillips story about the Houston Oilers. They got to the door. They knocked on the door. He said they were going to kick it in the next season. It didn't work out for them. Matter of fact, Houston, I think, finished below 500. Bum got fired in Houston. Then the Oilers left Houston. I mean, it got so bad, Houston, they packed up and moved to Beverly, actually. Where did the Houston franchise go to? The original one? They moved
Tennessee.
Tennessee. They moved to Tennessee. I also think the Lions season is now over. You sent it to me. It was the first alert I received. Frank Ragnow, All-Pro, first-team All-American center for the Detroit Lions. He's done so. It's over. They have no center. Though I know there's one that's going to be available soon. His name is Garrett. What's our guy's name?
He's not available.
Oh, what's that?
Garrett Bradbury?
Yeah, isn't he available?
No, he signed with the Patriots in free agency.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Boy, they must have been really desperate. That's a big blow.
That's a tough one.
That's hard to overcome. We've seen it here in this town. When you don't have a strong interior offensive line, you ain't got a lot going for you. It's really difficult to win games, particularly against teams that have strong defensive fronts. I don't even know if they have any. Do they have a backup center on the roster? I'm sure some. My guess is one of those guys that plays tackle, center, and guard. He also does some water boy stuff. He does a little of everything, right? It's like, that ain't going to cut it in the NFC North. That ain't going to cut it in the National Football League. So he announces his retirement. That's the only real football news that I think stuck out to me today. Though I have a couple of other nuggets that I did dig up, but Tennessee, I guess really the biggest story locally is the Minnesota Lynx, right? Did they win their 7th?
They won again, yeah.
They are 7-0.
They've won 7 in a row, and they claim they haven't even played their best basketball yet.
Now,
that's just how good they are.
Did they just beat an expansion franchise? And again,
Yes.
that's not their fault.
And they gave up a lot at halftime. They were down at half.
Is that one of those? Is that one of those? Look, you've heard me say this about the NBA. When you are a really good team and you're playing a really bad team, you just kind of go at 3/4 speed. Sometimes even at, like a record of 45 goes at 45 RPMs. It makes a circle 45 times a minute, revolutions per minute. And an album goes 33 1/3. So you just come out and you do the 33 1/3 because you know that once halftime is over, you come out of the locker room, you flip the switch, you go to 40, you might even take it up to 78 RPMs, and you blow the competition out. Is that what maybe the Lynx did? They gave up a lot of points, but they still ended up winning the game, which is really all that matters, right? I mean,
it's hard to be too critical when they haven't lost a game.
No, I wasn't being critical. That wasn't, no. Trust me, that wasn't a criticism. I was just saying, do you think it was one of those things where we kind of know this game? We're a superior team. We're really good. And so they didn't need to go all out until it came time to start the second half or whatever. Or they just, we can give up some points because we're really good top to bottom.
It's kind of like you 2:30 on a Friday. Like you've already kind of, the week has already been won.
That's it.
You're not going to go out and just give it everything you can that final segment.
Yes, that is exactly right. I think that's what I was trying to say. So good for them. And then there was a wild nugget. Johansson signed for a year.
Yeah, he signed.
Is that where would you on a 1 to 10 scale? Where is that? That's not earthquake like, right? But it's nice to have him, right? We like him as a player. Do you like him?
We could talk a little bit more into it.
Okay.
Later in the show,
Let's do that a little bit later. Then there are still plenty of things to get to. Bodega Cat ran out of his 9 lives, and the Brunson burner was extinguished. And so it's now Indiana versus Oklahoma City. And, of course, the stories are already starting out tend to be about small market against small market. What will the ratings be like? I got my thoughts on that. There's plenty to get to today. So we'll take a short break. We'll come back with a little of this, a little of that, with the emphasis on that on the Common Man program on the Fan.
Your Lynx in action tomorrow night as they battle with the Phoenix Mercury at 7 p.m. Listen right here on KFAN and hear every game this season on the Timberwolves/Lynx channel on the free iHeartRadio app. Thanks to RBC Wealth Management.
Couple 13-14 past Common Man program. I'm Common. He is Tennessee. It's time now for Peek at the Purple. Peek at the Purple is brought to you by Affordable Electric. If you're planning your backyard barbecues or evenings outside, don't forget the most important part, safe outdoor power. Outdoor receptacles exposed to the elements can become serious hazards if they're outdated or not up to code. Contact Affordable Electric, family-owned and operated, for pro evaluation. They'll make sure your outlets are safe, grounded, and ready for all your outdoor fun. Affordable-electric.com. Affordable-electric.com. And remember, Affordable Electric is, oh boy, here it comes. Shockingly affordable. Did you send me a Vikings note recently? You're wont to do that, as we know. And I do appreciate all the help that you offer the Common Man to put things together. I thought you had something recent. If not,
I don't believe I did.
I don't know, other than, we like to say it's quiet, almost too quiet, because I think it really is quiet on the TCO front. We had our OTAs last week, and, when we were looking at last week at some of these, and they're all early, and they're just opinions, they're clickbait stuff, I get that, but we love list radio. Lazy radio is also known as list radio. which team should, have an opportunity to capitalize on what they did last year, and the Vikings were in that list, as were others. I don't think it can be undersold. Look, the North is as tough as it gets, right? I really, truly believe that with the Lions, Vikings, and Packers, all playoff teams last year. The Bears should be improved. The Ragnow retiring, and if you sent it to me, you saw the retirement note, the announcement that Ragnow put together. He basically said it's just the body can't do it anymore, right? The beating and he took he played hurt all the time, like most of those offensive linemen do. There was the where did I see the did you have it on what you sent me, the actual retirement announcement from him? Because he basically says, I'm paraphrasing what it said, but, I thought I could play. I wanted to play. But I try to convince myself I felt good. But I don't. I don't feel like I can play anymore. It's time to...
As I said, the timing of it's a little curious, right? Yes. When it's June 2nd. Usually these guys that are veterans that retire, they're letting their team know, ideally before free agency. And they're letting you know in March. The fact is June 2nd, and he's now come to that conclusion. It's a little odd.
Well, it is, but I think I'll find where, I don't know, again, I have to look for it again. Maybe someone sent it to me on an email because it wasn't included in the tweet you sent me. You copy and pasted or forwarded me a tweet, whatever it was. I think he had every intention to play. I don't think he was I don't think he was cavalier about it and wanted to leave the team out on a limb. I think he had every intention to continue to play, and he tried to work through it from the time the season ended until, I suppose, the last couple of days, and just realized I can't get there again. And so I think that was probably the problem. Because you're right, it is curious that you would do it now, but I don't think he had any intention of retiring. I think he wanted to play. It's just unfortunate, the timing of it. So I don't want to throw him under the bus and say, well, sure left your team hanging there. I don't think that was his intention, but you're right.
I can read his Instagram post.
Yeah, okay.
He said, these past couple of months have been very trying as I've come to the realization that my football journey is ending and I'm officially retiring from the NFL. I've tried to convince myself that I'm feeling good, but I'm not, and it's time to prioritize my health and my family's future. I have given this team everything I have, and I thought I had more to give, but the reality is I simply don't. I have to listen to my body, and this has been one of the hardest decisions of my life. The Lions organization has been absolutely incredible throughout this process, and I can't emphasize this enough, how grateful I am for this team and all of the fans. It was an absolute honor going to battle for you all.
So I guess he kind of confirms what I thought he said, and that's why I guess I let him off the hook a little bit. You're right. You don't like to see a guy retire like just before training camp starts. Or heaven forbid, have the general manager make a major trade 3 days before the season starts, something like that, right? You sort of hope, but I think he wanted to continue to play. I mean, the money's good, and you play in and he's
only 29.
He's only 20. Everybody wants to win a ship. So he's probably thinking our window's still open. So I'm sure it was hard for him to come to that conclusion. But, and I don't know, top line centers, all Pro Bowl centers just don't grow on trees, as they say, Tennessee. So I don't know. I don't think you can undersell that enough. Now, I'm sure they'll find somebody, but what do you do in that situation?
You can't replace him.
No, I don't think you can. So there goes. And Goff he's almost like, what do people say? He's like a baby giraffe back there in the pocket where he's not real nimble of foot. And any weak link in the offensive line.
Now, the rest of the offensive line's pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
But you are now you get to the point where one more injury on that line and your depth takes a big hit.
Yeah.
Right? You can kind of hide for one guy.
Correct.
For a good stretch of time, but when you have to start hiding for a second or a third guy, then you're in trouble.
Yeah, and so I think their window might be closed now too, Tennessee. I think it's wide open for the purple. It should be wide. As long as J.J. McCarthy... I think he has to be more than a what do we call it when a quarterback doesn't do much? He's a caretaker. No, what's that phrase we use with quarterbacks?
A caretaker works, or system quarterback,
where the
game manager.
Game man, that's what I'm looking for. I think he has to be more than a game manager, but he doesn't have to be. I don't think he's got to be Pat Mahomes or John. It'd be nice.
That'd be really nice.
But I just think he needs to get back there, spin it, wing it around the ballpark, make the right decisions. Don't throw into double coverage. Don't do the things Caleb Williams did last year when he was under duress. If and they should be okay. I'm starting to get excited. I'm starting to get excited about this Vikings club. By the way, I think I just saw Chad Abbott into the studio. Still in the works to go to. I told Lil B that I'm more than happy to go to Dublin. Is that going to happen?
Oh my gosh, you are above average at that.
Dublin Vikings.
What Vikings program would you host?
Common After Dark. It would be called Common with Vikings After Dark. I'll do a special show.
How about you do fan line for the whole year so the listeners get used to you being there? So it's not like
not going to work. Fan line. Nordo loves doing fan line, from what I've been understanding. He loves it. Cove really. And why did you fire Cove from it? I think Cove was devastated when he told me.
They're not going to Dublin, so. Yeah, I wouldn't hold your breath.
Yeah.
Especially looking at the report card from last week.
On the air, he said that. And, you were...
Then you just left immediately.
Yeah, you were admonishing me about, you didn't hear about my vacation until I said it on the air, which I guess you guys thought was bad. I think it's worse when you basically tell the entire listening audience you basically got an F. Well, it wasn't quite that bad. It's still best in the market for this time slot, so... It's that Memorial Day weekend. A lot of people slide out of town, Tennessee. And, there was a time, I do miss the good old days, and I get it. I know everybody else. You don't have to go through how everybody else can go to their computer, can go to work day and request time off. There was a time I'd just look at my boss back in the old and say, hey, I need next Monday off. Okay, sounds good. And they would go to you and say, Tennessee, you're working at Monday, and that'd be it. There wouldn't be all this... Got to go through 13, 14 different steps and hurdles and hoops you got to jump through. It used to be so easy back in the day where you just say, hey, I need next Monday off for a charity event. And it'd go, okay. But it's not like that anymore. And so somebody held my hand, Chad Abbott, to walk me through it. And so I did apply. So you're in Monday officially, unless he doesn't approve it again.
That's always possible.
Remember when he did that when I wanted to have the Friday off for the golf opener, and he said, well, no, I haven't approved that day off. Thought he was funny. Everybody here is a comedian. Speaking of that, it's a good thing it's the final show of the year for Flop, Sweat, and Tears. No! Saturday wasn't really... Let's say our reception to our comedy was lukewarm at best. So we're gonna take some time off now, revisit, revise, and
go back to the drawing board.
Go back to the drawing board, so to speak. I think we're gonna take a year off.
You're gonna get some new material.
Well, no. Here's what we're gonna do. We're not gonna do anything in the Twin Cities. We're gonna go fleece all the other markets that haven't seen us in a while because they've probably forgotten our material. So we'll go to Mankato, we'll go to Fargo, we'll go to Duluth, we'll go to Rochester, we'll go to Brainerd, we'll go to Grand Forks. Right?
Are you gonna do Fargo or Key Largo?
Well, we might do that. We might do. China and Edina,
Austin or Boston.
Yeah, we might do Chaska and Alaska, and then we'll get out of town and we'll fool those people, and then they'll not want us back, and then we'll come back to the Twin Cities and say, hey, those haven't done a show in a while. Been a couple of years, maybe we should go see them. You know what it basically is, Tennessee? It's like staying one step ahead of the law is what we're trying to do. We'll pause and return. That was Peek at the Purple, brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. Affordable-electric.com.
Don't miss out on the classic musical Grease at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater. Experience the nostalgia of high school in the 50s with this musical based on the iconic film. Head over to our contest page for your chance to win a pair of tickets, including dinner for two. That's KFAN.com. Keyword contest to enter today.
Olivia Newton-John. I think she starred in Grease. I think. With, what's his face from Pulp Fiction and Staying Alive guy. Saturday Night Fever. The hell's his name? Tennessee?
Yeah, why is his name escaping me right now, too? I can picture him.
Yeah. He wasn't the
Travolta. John Travolta.
Johnny Travolta. I think they started it originally, if I'm not mistaken. There was actually quite a bit that happened over the weekend. We mentioned the Lynx one. I think that the Twins played in like 3 consecutive extra inning games, won 1 and lost 2. Chris Paddock was really good yesterday. Royce Lewis is like 0 for 30. Think about this. He got pinch. He was batting 9th, and he got pinch hit for. We talked about Bodega Cat. His 9 lives are over. He and Brunson and all the rest. They lose to the Pacers in Game 6. So it's now Pacers versus the Thunder. In hockey, did you say it's Flo Rida taking on Edmonton?
Yes.
And then Scotty Scheffler won the Memorial. And even with all of those, and I think I mentioned the Lynx, and even with all of those results tend to be the biggest sports story, I think, of the weekend was the Hendrickson Foundation Celebrity Hockey Game. I saw someone forwarded me some pictures that you posted. You're hanging out with your guy Foligno,
Freddie
Gaudreau.
Yeah, they were on my team.
Yeah.
They're teammates.
How'd you fit in? I mean, it looks to me like you had an experience that's not unlike that of an NHL player. I mean, first of all, you've had an experience that's not unlike a PGA Tour pro with a 74. Now you had an experience that's not unlike playing in the National Hockey League.
Very similar, yeah. I mean, you had, Foligno, Gaudreau, and then John Merrill, who plays for the Wild, is on the other team. Zach Parise played on the other team. You get some other current NHL players like James Van Riemsdyk, former NHLers. So there was like 3 or 4 Golden Gophers that were playing.
Really?
Yeah, when we first started doing this, I don't know, was it like 6 years ago when we first started doing like the celebrity game? It was a lot of former NHL players, right? It was your Wes Walzes and your Darby Hendricksons.
Sure.
And your Andrew Burnett's. And I always felt like I was a little bit on the younger side.
Right.
And now I feel like it's flipped.
Yeah.
Where I've gotten a little bit older, but now they're inviting a lot more younger players, and I'm like one of the older ones.
Did it get chippy at all? I mean,
no.
No?
No, I mean, those guys aren't. I mean, they're playing it.
Didn't you try to get it a little chippy? I mean,
those guys are playing at about 70%. And I got to play about 100% to match their 70%.
Well, because you're a try-hard anyways. You're a sweaty. You weren't going to just go around and just kind of coast out there. Did you lay any heavy checks into anybody?
No, there's no checking.
Well, you could still lay one and do them. What are they going to do? They whistle you for penalty, you go to the box. It's no big deal. I'm kind of disappointed. I thought you might get a little chippy. Did anybody drop the gloves?
No, nobody dropped.
Nobody squared off. Well, it didn't even sound like it was hockey to me. It sounds like it was figure skating. You guys are just
It's a charity game.
Skating a bunch of figure eights out there. Did you trash talk Parise and say, boy, it sure is good to get out from under your contract? Because I had to trash talk him.
Didn't really have a chance to
get him off his game.
I wasn't out against him a whole lot.
Oh. So,
were you... And he wasn't, he wasn't trying as hard as... He was one of those just trying to set up others. He wasn't trying to take over the game at all.
Sort of like when we played in the celebrity softball game and Joe didn't change his stripes at all, Mauer. He didn't try to hit a home run like all the other guys trying to knock it out. He would just hit a seeing-eye single between the second baseman and the first baseman. I faced Mauer in that game, and I so badly wanted to strike him out. But all he did was he just poked that ball in between second and first base and trotted on down to first. Typical Joe Mauer. He's got a lot of talent. I think he went like 9 for 9 in that game.
He had the same hit every time.
He had the same hit. We couldn't stop him. Your mama couldn't stop him. Your daddy couldn't stop him. Police couldn't stop him. He
was on brand in that game.
Yes. Were you first team center, defense, or which line did you skate on?
I ended up starting just because nobody else went out there.
Oh, okay.
Like it's
started center.
No, I wasn't center. I played defense. Yeah, I mean it's kind of it's unorganized, right? Like it's not like you have set lines.
Sort of like the show, unorganized.
You get the national anthem, and everyone goes and skates to the bench. And at that point, we didn't even know if we were splitting into forward and D or just next man up. And no one went out there to play defense. I'm like, all right, well, I'll go out there and.
Did you light the lamp?
No, I did not. No? I think I might have had 2 assists.
Really?
Yeah.
Who'd you set up? Just set up Freddie? Just set up Foligno?
Well, they were both like breakout passes, and then I went off the ice for a change, and they scored on the way down. So it's not like it was a main setup.
So you got 2 points. You got 2 helpers.
I think. It was a very it's a humbling experience though, because there's a lot of people there, right? I mean, it's at the Super Rink, but it's
a lot of people.
It's completely packed. It's standing room only, and there are a lot of people there, kids there, that are there to see. You know, even there were people not playing that were big names, right? Like Brock Faber was there, and Matt Boldy was there, and Jake Middleton was there, right? So there's a lot of big name Minnesota Wild NHL type players that are there. And so both going into the rink and leaving the rink, there's just hordes of people waiting to get like autographs. So like every time I walk through, it's just so weird because they're all eyeing me down like, is this guy an NHL player or not? Right? And they all have like this puzzled look on their face of like, who is this guy? Is he worth asking his autograph for? So it's very, I remember on the way in, the person asked me what my name was. I go, yeah, Brandon Melasker with KFAN. And she was so disappointed. She goes, oh. So a very humbling experience for me to really put me in my place.
Did you feel like you fit in though? I mean, did you say, you know, maybe I go down to the Iowa Wild and give it a shot and see if you could, you know, maybe someday could you, or is it just, are you past your prime?
I am past my prime. There's no doubt about that. I would say they're trying to a certain extent, but they're not going all out. Yeah.
Well, you said they're going like 70%.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what they did during the regular season kind of thing too. Wait, go ahead. You know what? We had a lot of injuries. We turned it on late. Our window's wide open.
I would say my skating is in their ballpark.
Really?
Not, you know.
Wait, hold on. PST alert.
I said ballpark. They are definitely much more advanced on the hands.
Yeah.
And the hockey IQ.
Right.
But
you could skate with those guys.
I wouldn't say I can skate with them. I would say I'm in the ballpark enough where I can at least be out there for an hour.
Right. Huh.
Like, I don't think I would be a massive liability.
Foligno, Parisi, Molesky. Let's go! Right in their backyard. You've been here.
But then if I saw them trying, I did get worked by Darby Henderson's kid who's 16.
Okay.
Yeah, he worked me a little bit in the corner. So I got worked by a 16-year-old.
I think you've set your sights too low when it comes to video coordinator.
The video coordinator was there.
Was he?
Yes. He was one of, each team has like 5-6 coaches on the bench. So
right.
he was one of the coaches.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I think you've set your sights too low. I think it appears to me that you could play for this club. Well, good for you.
Huh?
But at least you did try hard. Which again, I was alerted to a story about an NBA player who apparently didn't try really hard. I don't know if you saw this story. Pascal Siakam, I think that's how you say his name. And give me a second, I got to find it. Stories all over. I went to Awful Announcing to find it. Pacers Pascal Siakam squashes Indy Stars Greg Doyle after loss. You good, bro? I don't know if 10 of you heard about it.
I did.
Story says there's a difference between asking a tough question and just flat out badgering someone. Indiana Pacers forward Pascal Siakam found himself on the receiving end of the latter after Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals, thanks to Greg Doyle from the Indianapolis Star. And apparently, I knew that name, rang a bell. He was the one that didn't he ask Caitlin Clark if she could do the heart thing to him? And then he got
that was really weird. Yes.
It was really, he admitted he was, I don't think he was trying to be creepy. It just turned out that way. Mm-hmm. He thought it was clever. Stick to sports writing is what I would do. But apparently it's now one of those viral moments where Doyle this is from Awful Announcing, pressed Siakam on how it was possible that the Knicks played harder than the Pacers, because that's what Siakam said. Siakam, visibly confused, tried to make sense of the question and eventually asked off to the side, seemingly to a PR staffer, who is this guy? It went like this. Doyle said, how is that possible? Siakam said, what do you mean? Doyle said, how is it possible not to play hard enough in Game 5? Siakam said, what are you talking about? They played harder than us. It's okay. We played hard. They played harder. What's your point? I don't get it. Doyle says, my point is you're saying you guys got outfought. Siakam says that happens in a game, though. That's basketball. Doyle says, in Game 5 of the NBA playoffs, Siakam now gets annoyed. And I think he really knows he's been backed into a corner, because Doyle's absolutely 100% right. Everybody knows that, right? How'd he get outworked in Game 5? It's been something I've been harping on now forever about effort. Siakam says, you good, bro? You're looking for something, I know. Oh, yeah, we're looking for an explanation as to why he didn't try hard enough. You're looking for something, I know, but damn, no. But I'm telling you, though, I told you. What else do you want to tell me? I want you to tell me how. That's all I'm asking. And then they moved on. I think Doyle is getting the brunt of the criticism here. We don't have that enough in the media anymore, people that will push players, executives, coaches, managers, whatever the case may be. It seems like players just want to be coddled. They want to be idolized and pedestalized, because that's what they do most of the time. It's just idolization and pedestalization. It happens in this town. It happens in every town. It happens nationally. It happens worldwide. And, some people will say, well, no, you're grasping at straws and what is that word? It's semantics. It's just, but to me, it's again, I just, when I saw that, I thought, well, that's exactly right. When I see the Wolves say the same thing as, yeah, we didn't put as much effort into it as the other team did. Say, what does Little B go? Doesn't Little B have someone she wants you to repeat? So she goes, say that? No, what does Little B always say? She goes like, she has that little phrase she always says, excuse me? Little B always goes, excuse me? That's what I want to say to Siakam. One. Excuse me? They tried harder than you? How is that possible? And he says it happens all the time in the NBA. Happens all the time. I'll say it.
Which is not wrong.
Right. I'll say it one more time. Though you can get beat by the better team. As a matter of fact, it was Finch who said it after the Wolves lost. Was it Game 5? He said they were the better team. Just say they're the better team, but athletes don't want to admit that. They don't want to admit the other team was better, that there's another athlete that's better than they are, because that's just the truth of the matter. So just say it, and if it is your effort, if you didn't try hard enough, to me, that's just... that goes against everything. That's almost as bad as is tanking a game to me. Because really, it's no different than tanking a game. It's no different. Because you decided I'm not going to exert as much effort because you know it. You're saying they tried harder. Well, why did they? Why can't you try? And Doyle's just trying to tell us why they tried. Oh, you all right? You all right, bro? Yeah, you're the one that's not all right, bro. It puzzles me. I don't understand it, but and I guess I'll never get an answer to it. And I guess I think I must be in the minority there, because I'm one of the few. I think that is because I get the text messages from people and the emails, and I don't know if they're trolling me, because I have to think they're just trying, because they can't possibly defend any athlete or player who says, well, we just didn't try hard enough, but apparently people can. Here's a text message that just came in, Tenneby. I don't know if this can be confirmed or not, but it says, word on the street is Bill Guerin was impressed by Tenneby's hockey playing performance.
I'd take that 1 year, $800,000 deal Marcus Johansson got today.
How much did he get?
1 year, $800,000.
Yeah.
I'd take it.
That's good money. What does he mean to the club, Tenneby? Is he first line, second line, third line? Is he?
Well, I mean, he's getting 1 year, $800,000. So,
yeah.
I'm kind of meh on Johansson. He has some skill. I mean, he can skate as well as anybody. He's a beautiful skater. Has the ability to score at times, but is a little inconsistent and can have some games where he disappears. I'd like to think that the Wild are going to put more players in place that could at least reduce his role a little bit. You know, last year, or when Kaprizov and Eriksson Ek went down, I mean, he was playing top 6 role for you basically that entire stretch, and he had some moments within that, especially right down the end of the stretch there. But you're not going to win a Stanley Cup with Marcus Johansson on your top line or on your second line. He's got to be on your third or fourth line. And then even within that, it'd be nice to at least put him with a little bit better players than maybe we've had on our third and fourth line. So maybe you can it'd be nice to have a scoring line on your third line that we can depend on a little bit more consistently than we have. So hopefully they are making some other moves to slot him down lower in the lineup, which would be more beneficial for him.
Okay.
When you're going up against third pairing defensemen as opposed to first or second pairing defensemen. But I would also say, if you would have gone into this offseason saying, hey, do you want to re-sign Johansson? I would have been like, nah. But the money you got him at, it probably is a good deal, right? Like he's going to be able to provide more offense than your typical $800,000 player. I mean, that's basically, it's basically minimum wage in the National Hockey League. Those are guys that you put on your fourth line that are making that dollar amount. So he should have more offense, more skill than your average guy making $800,000. So I think from that standpoint, and you're only committing 1 year to him, the cost is extremely little. So there's not a lot of risk there.
Right.
But hopefully they're just not as dependent on him to put the puck in the net as they were last year.
Yeah.
Let's get some other guys in place, slot them down lower, and maybe you can have more success there.
Well, and now we'll see. We had a really good opportunity the last couple of years to see what Tim Connolly did with the Minnesota Timberwolves. The guy wasn't afraid to make moves. He made the whopper of a trade to get Gobert, and then 3 days before the season, it was 3 days before training camp, I think, he traded Big Meow for Randall and DiVincenzo. Bill Guerin now has the opportunity to make, not necessarily a trade, but we're out from under that awful Parisi Suter. Remember when they didn't want the, how did we used to say that? They didn't want the stigma?
Yes, of the nine figure.
So they took less money. They gave us a hometown discount. So Suter and Parisi.
They took $98 million instead of $100 million.
Exactly right. So without that, now Guerin gets to kind of show us what he can do. Who does he? And again, I don't think he makes all the decisions on personnel. There's a group of people. I'm sure you have personnel guys. You all get together, but he's the final guy that makes the call.
It falls on him.
So we'll find out what they do with that extra loot. And I guess like you've said all along, and I think you're absolutely right. The most important decision. Well, it's not a decision. They have to sign Kaprizov, right? It's just a matter of can they get it done?
That's priority A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Yeah, and from what Kaprizov said, at least I think it was right when the season ended, it seemed, I don't remember the exact quotes, I suppose I could scroll back and find them, but he seemed to be very open to it. It didn't seem like he was saying, well, I think he did say something like, I leave that. He didn't go with that, did he? I'll leave that to the people that make those decisions for me. I think he made it sound like he likes it here. Now, that's what you say when you're still in the early stages of it. You're not going to try to, you don't want to create any ill will with the organization or the fans until you need to. But
there doesn't seem to be a lot of concern with it, though.
Right,
I mean, It seems like more of a formality at this point. I mean, Bill Guerin has been on these airwaves and said he'll get him signed. And, Michael Russo is as plugged in as any beat reporter in the country in any sport for any team. And, he showed some concern last summer, but really has not said anything in the last 2 months that would lead you to believe that there's concern here. So, Nothing's ever 100%, but it looks like it'll happen at some point.
Let me ask you one other question.
And you know what? The Wild can pay him more than anybody else can.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Because they can add another year that no other team can. So
let me ask you,
money's not going to be an issue.
Let me ask you another question. Is your skating skill set on par with Johansson? Because you said your ballpark. Are you a better skater than Johansson?
No.
Okay.
There's not many that are better. That's the strength. He's a very good. He's a very good NHL skater.
All right. He's ballpark with you, is what I would say. That's what I'm going to go with. Yeah, he's in Tennessee's ballpark. Well, I'm glad you had fun. You raised a lot of money. It was a charity event, so good for you.
Yeah, they did great work at the Hendrickson Foundation. Darby and Danny, and now their kids are starting to get involved. It's an awesome weekend.
If you can talk to the Hendricksons and see if they want to do a boot hockey celebrity
you're in
game, I'd be in. I'd go back between the pipes. Pretty good. Hell of an athlete. I'm better than Walls. You saw that. You were right.
That's been proven.
It's been proven. You were there. We'll take a break, and when we do, on the other side of the break, we have a 534 Tennessee. What you got for us?
Yeah, poor Paddock just can't get any run support.
Want to feel more creative but don't have the right laptop? Lenovo.com can help. Look through our legendary lineup of AI-powered PCs and devices and find the one that fits your passion. Our PCs powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, as well as cutting-edge AI tools, allow students to focus, learn, and create with ease. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. Plus, college students and teachers can get 5% off their order. Shop now on Lenovo.com. The future's waiting, and it needs you.